Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The DRF race of the day is part of a graded stakes-laden card at Belmont Park on Saturday the 14th. Race number 8 mile and 3/8 on the inner turf, the Grade 1 Man of War, featuring Breeders' Cup Turf winner Yabir's return to North America. Before we get to the analysis, DRF Bets wants to give you an opportunity to make some money ahead of the Preakness Stakes. Here's the Preakness Bonus Box series. Get up to $100 cash for the Preakness, and here's how it works. Use the DRF Bets iPhone or Android app to bet $10 or more to win on any one horse in the race of the day between May 8th and May the 17th. If your horse doesn't win, becomes in second or third, you will earn a $10 bonus. So let's take a look at the field for the Saturday DRF race of the day, where you can view free Formulator past performances on the race of the day event page at drf.com. Take a peek, handicap along with us. Yabir Even Money, winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf, ran so well in the Dubai Shima Classic, but was shockingly beat a little bit more than 2 weeks ago overseas. What happened?
He got into a short field over there in his most recent start. There was no pace in front of him, and he just couldn't run down a pretty solid horse who was in front of him the entire way, Dan. He's lost both of his starts so far this year. I think he has excuses for both of them.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, because it is a short field in here. The number 6, So High, does have speed. The number 4, Aban, is probably the most quality of the 3 speed horses in this race. I would not be surprised if Aban turns into the stretch with the lead, but the 2 horses you have to look at, the 2 class masters of the race, Yabir and Gufo, they're going to be coming from behind, and it might simply turn into a situation of who has the stronger kick.
Yeah, it could be that. It does feel like, these are 2 horses who, I guess, Dan, if you were looking for reasons to play against them, you could say they're pace compromised. Especially in Yabir's case, he'll probably be last, and this is cutting back a furlong for him. I suppose those things could conspire against him, but at the end of the day, I just feel like the 2 favorites are the 2 best horses.
The number 1, Easter, began his career in France, and he was stakes placed over there, just about a cut below their best horses. And they really didn't challenge him at a distance of ground. Now, Graham Motion is fantastic off layoffs, but I think this horse had a serious excuse for his North American debut. He didn't break very well. There was no pace going on for him in that race, and he still came with a good run. I think he can improve, but he is stepping way up in class, and there are some distance questions for me.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, he did face some pretty good competition over there. He wasn't embarrassed in some of those races. So I do think he has some ability, this horse. I don't know about, stretching out this race, Dan, against this field, especially with Yabir coming over. But you're right about his stateside debut. Hesitated a little bit at the start there, way back in last for most of that trip. We'll look at the replay in a little bit. And he was actually finishing pretty well. There split horses late, just missed second in there. I don't, necessarily love the horse that beat him. But this horse is probably going to run a lot better in here.
Gufo is a dangerous contender for Christophe Clement, coming off of his seasonal debut in the Grade 2 Pan Am at Gulfstream. We're going to watch that race right now. Now, he got pace in this race, and that always helps a horse like Gufo, who angles to the outside, turning for home. That is Aban, who is on the lead and got the jump, and Gufo runs by him pretty readily.
He really does. Aban ran well in this race too. He was closer to the pace, a little bit wide, and took it over in the stretch. But Gufo is just going to run this horse right over in here. It was a good setup for this horse. It was also his first start since the Breeders' Cup, and he came with a really strong finish in there, as much the best as a starting off point for his 5-year-old campaign. Dan, it probably went as well as Clement wanted it to go, and now they'll step him back up against a better horse again.
Now, while no match for Yabir in the Breeders' Cup Turf, he had a smidgen of trouble in that race. And what I liked about Gufo last year, Mike, was that he showed the ability to get closer to the pace when necessary. And I wonder if that's going to be the plan for Joel Rosario, to try to get a jump on Yabir, maybe create some separation, because we know Yabir kicks like a mule in the stretch, as we saw in the Breeders' Cup Turf. He got a fast pace. He ran him down in the Shima Classic. He was so far behind. A perfect trip winner beat him. He was flying at the end. And last time out, it was a race again that just didn't have a lot of pace for him. He's way the horse to beat.
Yeah, he's just really, really good. Especially they gelded him, towards the middle of last year. As soon as they did that, he really got his mind on business. Just ran one good race after another. His Jockey Club Derby was a really good performance. His Breeders' Cup Turf was a really good. I mean, that was a strongly run race, so it really set up well for Yabir. But he came with a huge finish that day. And again, I just feel like he's run okay in both of his starts this year, Dan. I think he does have legit excuses for those efforts. To me, he's way the horse to beat.
Number 4 is Aban, going out for Todd Pletcher. Luis Saez, we saw him finish behind Gufo at Gulfstream Park, but he does have more tactical speed than the two favorites and will likely once again get the jump on Gufo and Yabir, turning into the stretch. He is no stranger to winning in the graded stakes ranks. He won the McKnight 3 starts back when able to just get close to a very easy pace, and that's really the key for Aban. How slow are they going to go early?
Yeah, and I don't feel like they're going to be going that fast. I mean, this horse, I wasn't a big fan of his, even as he was running well in one race after another once Pletcher stretched him out sort of or end of last year and then over the winter and Gulfstream. I never really bought into this horse, but you know what, Dan? He's probably better than I gave him credit for. He ran fine last time, closer to that fast pace and then taking over before Gufo. He just was no match for that horse, and this is a tougher race than that one. I mean, this horse isn't impossible in here, but I'm probably not using him.
Of the 2 Graham motion-trained European second-time runners in North America, the 5 Highland Chief ran against better competition overseas and might be better suited to this distance. I just didn't love his seasonal debut in North America as much as the other motion-trained runner.
Yeah, I'll disagree with that a little bit. You're right. This horse, especially on paper, doesn't look like he ran that well. To me, that was a better field than the one that Easter ran in. And I just feel like this horse had just as much of an excuse as Easter did in his start. He got bumped at the start, pushed back to last, was well off the pace all the way around there in that start. And then to me, it just feel like that was purely a prep race over a distance that is way too short for him. He was actually really running at the end of that race and carried on past where I think he really needed that start.
Now, he did finish ahead of one next out winner who earned an 87 buyer, but needed to drop to a $25,000 claimer. Motion so good with these horses. So High the 6 might be the pace setter. We're going to watch his most recent start where he was able to shift on the lead in his first start off of a lengthy layoff. He did not go fast. You're going to see Easter run third in this race, finishing just behind So High. I guess of the 2 horses coming out of this race, I'd rather have Easter, although So High ran just fine, again, in his first race off a long layoff.
Yeah, exactly. That's Easter down on the rail there for number 5. He's going to split horses late and just miss getting past So High for second. So High cut the pace in this race. He was actually pretty loose on the lead, no match in this stretch, but it was also his first start off of a really long layoff. They ran him in this race last year, Dan, at a giant price. And listen, he was never a real threat in that race after a really good trip, but he ran just fine that day.
But this is a Yabir. Now, that was a Yabir-less Man of War. He's got to deal with Yabir this year. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel. Access to all of DRF TV's latest video offerings. Time for our top picks for the Man of War. We're going with the closers. Mike's going with maybe the best turf closer in North America. If Yabir stays here, he was fantastic in the Breeders' Cup Turf, and he's going to be rolling late.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a short price in this race. I just think he's a little bit better than Gufo, Dan, and I took him on top.
I like the way Gufo won his last start. He won very easily. As Mike said, I think it was a perfect prep race. I thought he was slowly getting better when showing more tactical speed towards the tail end of 2021. I believe that he can make Yabir at least run a little bit in here. 2, 3, 4, 1 for me, 3, 5, 2, 1 for Mike. It's the DRF Bet Saturday race of the day, the Man of War. Good luck.